Hi all, this is Praful from Informatica, and in today's video we are going to see what is intelligent structure model and how to use it with the structure parser to join multiple output groups. So we will be joining all those multiple output groups to a single target using some kind of transformations. So we will see that ahead. So here is the agenda of today's video. Firstly, we'll discuss what is intelligent structure model. Then we'll see how to use ISM in a mapping and how to process data using it. Then we'll see how to join the data which is coming from multiple output groups. And I will combine all this into a quick demo so that we'll have a clear understanding about the ISM. So first question which arises here is what is ISM? So ISM is a model that determines the underlying patterns and structures of the input that we provide for the model. And it creates a model that can be used to transform, parse, and generate output groups. So in simple terms, if I say, right, so suppose I have a XML file which has no structure or a very complex structure. So is it easy for you to parse that particular file or difficult? It will be difficult, right? It will be very difficult. So in such scenarios, what I will do, I will make use of this ISM. So what I will do, I will give that particular XML, unstructured XML as an input to this ISM, and it will generate a model with a proper structure. It will give us a hierarchical structure or a tree-like structure where we can see our data in a proper structured format. So if you are parsing a structured data, right, obviously it is going to be very easy for us and it will be very easy for us to understand. So the next point says it provides out of the box support for a variety of data files formats, right? So when I am talking about ISM, so it must be taking some kind of input, right? So that is what we are discussing here. What kind of inputs it is taking? See, if I have a CSV text delimited file or I have a XML file, I have a JSON file, Excel, Avro, PDF, all these files I can give as input for this particular intelligence structure model. So again, the third point says that long complex files with no structure or very little structure can be difficult to parse. What we discussed in the first point, right? The same thing. Like if I do not have structure, a proper structure of the data, then how I'm going to represent that particular data? How I'm going to parse that particular data? So it will be very problematic, right? So that is why we are using ISM. We'll give our unstructured format file here and it will give us a visual model of the structured data format. So once the intelligence structure discovers the structure of the data, what we'll do, we'll refine and test the structure. When I say refine and test the structure means we'll test if that structure is okay or not, or else if we are not feeling like it's not okay, then we can update as well. We can say that we can refine it as well. Then we'll save and export it. A .a model file will be created, and what that .a model file is, that is nothing but your intelligence structure model. So this is how we are going to create a intelligence structure model. Once we'll go to demo, things will be very much clear to you. So let's move to our next slide. So as we discussed, right, as ISM is a model, it is giving us a structured format for an unstructured input. So what kind of inputs we can give? As discussed earlier, we can give JSON, XMLs, Avro, Excel files, and even machine generated files, which are like click streams and weblogs. So these are the kind of inputs we can give. So probably you can play around with these input files and you can try to create a model with all of these files to have a clear understanding. So let's move to our next slide. So what we'll do now, we'll have a quick demo so that we'll have a clear understanding what we are going to do and how we are implementing all these things. So let's log into our cloud console and we'll go ahead and we'll develop a mapping after creating an ISM model. So I'm here at my cloud console. So let's log in and we'll create a mapping now. So before creating a mapping, what is the first thing which we should do? We should create an ISM, right? So let me go to new. I'll go to components, and here if you'll see I have this intelligent structure model, right? And this is what we need to create. So I'll click on create. Okay. So I'll give some random name to this ISM. Let's make it ISM random itself, or let's make it ISM support. Okay. So now I have to choose a file, right? I have to give the input. So I already have an input file. I'll show you. But first, let me give this one is my file, sample XML. So I'll give this file here. Okay. So if I'll click on discover structure, so see what it is giving. If this much part, if you see till from catalog is the root, then books, then library. So this is what it is representing. This is like a binary tree, right? Till here, till books and library. So it's a tree-like structure, right? Which has see, which these are my nodes. So under books we have title, author ID, and in the library we have name, author, days. So what I'll do, I'll save it. But before telling you this visual representation, right? Let me open my file as well once, right? So that you will get to know what I'm talking about. Uh, this is my file, right? I'll open it with Notepad and then we'll see. Okay, so this is my input XML which I'm giving to my in ISM. So if you'll see, we have library name here. I'm in library and book. These two fields I have here inside catalog as the root element. So now we gave this as an input, right? So my ISM is ready, ISM support. So now what I'll do, I'll create a mapping and I'll use it inside some or the other transformations. Okay, let's see what transformations we are going to use. So I'll delete this link for a while because we need to create a fresh mapping, right? So I'll bring structure parser here, and in structure parser, if I'll go to structure parser, you'll see it is asking for intelligent structure model. So what we'll do, we'll click on select and we'll give the ISM which we just now created, this ISM support we created, right? So I'll click on select. Then what I'll do, I will, so again, ISM model I selected, if you'll see, incoming fields, nothing is there. Why? Because my source is empty right now. If you'll see field mapping, so nothing is there because my source itself is empty, right? And let me show you the output fields as well. So see, if you'll see output fields, we have book, and inside books we have author, title, and inside library we have similar fields like name, author, days, something like that. So let me give the source data as well because we need to parse it properly, right? So we need some kind of source. So I have a flat file connection. I'll make use of that. So I'll go to source and I'll use my connection, flat file connection. Okay, now I'll click on select. Okay, so now I'll select my input file. So this one is my input where, so let me show you this file as well, what I have inside this file, right? The input file. So I'll go to input, I'll go to this one. If you see, nothing is there. It's just my path to my input file which I'm giving. So what is this input XML file? Let me show you this as well. So input XML, this one is my input XML. So this is what my input looks like. We have author, we have book IDs, we have book IDs starting from 1012 to 112. Okay, so this is my source data. So now what we are going to do, we are processing this data. So first let me create a link from the source to structure parser. Then I'll create one link from structure parser to target. Now here is the thing to note. If I want to get the book output, I can select book, right? But what if I want library also? Then it's easy, I can select library. But what if I want both together, right? So if you see that it is not possible now. So okay, let me do one thing. Let me select book for now, and I have this simple mapping with one structure parser, source and target. Now what I'll do, I'll create a target. Also we need, right? So let me create a target connection. So I'll use again that same flat fill connection, and then I'll create a new object at runtime. Okay, so let me create new at runtime. I'll give this as support.csv. This is my target file. So okay, so I'll go to field mapping now. I'll go to source once and I'll see about the source details. Okay, so it is taking input from HP test input. I'll keep it as auto generate. Then I'll go to structure parser. Okay, and in the field mapping, what I will do, okay, I'll map this field one. Okay, so now I'll save it and let's see if it is valid or not. Okay, so my mapping is valid now. So let's run this mapping and let's see what is the output we are getting. Oh, I think I need to save. Okay, so we'll run this mapping now. Okay, so my mapping is running now. We'll go to my jobs and we'll see the status. Okay, so as you can see, it is starting. So if you'll see, my mapping is successful now, right? So let's go to the target. We'll open it with Excel. So let's see what we got in the target. Okay. So if you'll see, I have all the book details here, right? From starting from BK's 1012, BK 112. I have author, title, price, publish, everything I have, right? But we don't have any library details because we were not able to map it. Uh, Both the fields, we were not able to map both the output groups at the same time. So that seems to be a limitation, right? So how to deal with it? So let's see how we can use some transformation so that we can send both the output groups to a single target. So this is my mapping, right? So what we'll do, uh, so when I say we have to join two output groups, which transformation comes into your mind first? The basic transformation. It's the joiner, right? So let's make use of it. I'll use a joiner here. Okay, so this is my joiner. So what I'll send my book to the detail because it has more number of fields. Then I'll send library to master. Okay, so my book is going in detail, my library is going to master. This I'll map to target. Okay, so is it done? No, right? So for joiner, I have to specify some kind of condition. So what I will do? So okay, there are some kind of name conflicts. So no problem. I'll resolve this by simply giving some kind of prefix. So this one, let me keep it as this is master, right? So in master, I have library details, and here I'll keep book. So this is not amended that you have to keep it as book or lib or something. You can give anything. It's just to remove that naming conflicts. So okay, so now what we'll do, we'll add a condition here. So condition I'm using is I'm using if the library author is equal to my book author, just publish that book. So I'll save it after using this condition. So let's wait for it to get saved, then we'll go ahead. Okay, so it is saved. So what do you think? Shall we run this mapping? Okay, let's run it. Let's see what happens. Is it going to give us some error or what it is going to do? Okay, wait is running. So we'll wait. So if you see this mapping failed, right? It is showing invalid mapping import and no log generate, no import log generated. So let's download the log. Let's see what it says. Okay, so I have downloaded the logs. If you'll see concatenation disallowed on transformation joiner, active transformation structure parser dot book field. I'm in the book group and structure parser dot library group. And choose sorted input for the joiner as the data is coming from the source from the same source. So it is showing that we have to use a sorted input for this joiner. Okay, so how we are going to use a sorted input? Any idea? So now you can probably say we can go to advanced and we can select this option sorted input. So is it going to work like this? Just give it a guess. Is it going to work like this? Or else let's try this. I'll save it and again I'll run it. Let's see what happens. Because we have checked the sorted input option. Is it going to work? Let's see. I'll click on next. I'll click on run. Okay, I'll again go to my jobs and we'll see if it succeeds this time. Okay, it is still running. So is it going to work or is it going to fail? It's just a basic understanding which you have to think about. You just have to think, is it going to work or not? Because we just clicked that sorted input option, we didn't do anything, right? So if it is going to work, how is it going to work? If not, then what to do? So we'll see. Once again, let's see what error it is giving. Okay, now what is the error? Flush operation failed. Okay, input to the structure parser. then here it just showed. Okay, so it is complaining that this data is not sorted. Okay, so what we can do, how we can sort the data? It is complaining that this joiner input is not sorted. This row key, if you'll see, right? So how can we deal with it? How you will sort the data? Which transformation comes into your mind when I'm talking about sorting the data? It's as simple as it gets. It's the sorter, right? So I'll delete these links to joiners for now, and I'll bring sorter. So where is sorter? Okay, here is the sorter. So how many sorters I need? Is it one? Is it two? Is it three? Or is it four? Okay, let me show you. So this is my sorter. Okay, again the same thing comes. I can either send book or library, but I need to sort both, right? Which means I need two joiners. Okay, I sent book in this particular joiner, sorry, sorter. In the second sorter, what I'll do, I'll send library. Okay, so I'll select library here. I'll click OK. So is it sorted just by giving this to sorter? No, right? Okay, let's go to sorter now. Incoming fields, if you see, that is nothing but what is coming from the structure parser. Then I'll go to sort, and how I'm going to sort, right? So I just want to sort because if you see that logs were complaining about this one, right? Row key value author. So let's sort author only. I'll select author here, and you can sort it in any order, that is ascending or descending. I'm sorting it in ascending order here. Okay, from this I sorted uh, the author here. Now in the second sorter also I'll sort it uh, by author only. Okay, so once it completes, we'll sort the sorter one. Okay, so now I'll go to sorter one. Now I'll go to sort, and I'll add it here, and I'll sort author here as well as ascending. So now I'll save it. Okay, now what I need to do, I need to map these to master in detail. So in this one, what is coming, let me verify once. In this sorter, what are the fields which are coming so that I can accordingly map it to master in detail. So if you'll see in sorter one, we have, okay, so this is the book, right? So book output group, I'll map it to detail, and the library one, I'll map it to the master. Okay, so joiner is mapped, everything is mapped, right? So let me again go to the join condition. Okay, again I'll have to click on resolve. I'll click on prefix here. In detail, we have book. In master, we have library. So I will keep prefix like this, and I'll click on OK. Okay, so now this condition I need to delete first. This was the older condition. Now we'll select lib author here, and we'll select the book author here. So if these two values are equal, you just give me the author name. I mean, you just publish that book. So what we are doing, we are joining these two groups and we are getting the data from these two groups. So what I'll do, it is valid now. So let's run it and let's see if it is working now, because now the input is also sorted. We sorted data as well. Let's see if it works now. So I'll run this mapping. I'll go to my jobs and we'll wait for it to complete. Okay, so my mapping is successful now. So let's go to the target and we'll see what we got in the output. So I'll open it with Excel. So we'll wait for it to get opened. Okay, so so see now we have the book ID 112, we have the author, title, everything. Okay, so document ID, everything, all the fields. So why only book 112? Why only this ID came? I'll show you that as well. If I'll go to my input, you will see the author name Galos Mike from library. It matches to the book ID from book 112, which means the book ID 112's author is Galos Mike. And how we got to know? We got to know it from library. So if Gallus Mike is the author of book 112, I'll get this book from library, like that is book 112. I'll get it from library for how many days? I'll get it for 34 days. So this is what we did, right? We joined it using author. So we checked if this author is equal to this author, you just publish me the book. Suppose you are the user or you are the customer, you just went there, you just said, I want the book whose author is Gallos Mike. So what that particular person will do, he will match this author name with the book ID or the book which is present in his library, or then if he sees Gallus Mike is the author there, what he will do? He will publish you the book. So this is how it is working. We joined the data from the library and the book. So this is how we can make use of joiners in our mapping, and using structure parser, we can parse the data from both the groups to a single target itself. So one thing if you'll note here is, see, I have used a structure parser. Remember this sorter in, sorter step is not a mandate. It is only a mandate when your input is not sorted. As in my case, it was not sorted, right? So I need to sort it using sorter transformation. But if it is sorted for your case, there is no need to use the sorter. You can just go ahead and use joiner and it will work. So if we see, what I did is I have two output groups. I used one joiner. Can you guess if I have eight output groups, how many joiners we will use? Is it one, two, three, or four? I have eight output groups here. Like book library, I have like similarly like book library, I have eight output groups. So for two, I used one. For eight, how many joiners I'm going to use? Okay, it will be seven. So why? Because see, this two output groups I gave to this joiner. Third output group I will give it to another joiner, and from that two joiners I will give both the joiners output to the target. So for three output groups, similarly we'll have two joiners. For four we'll have three. For five we have four. So similarly, if we'll calculate it as a mathematical standard formula, what it will be? Suppose I have n output groups, so how many joiners I need? I need n minus 1 joiners. So this is how it works. This is how we can use sorter and joiners along with the ISM. So I hope this you are very much clear about this. If you still have some doubts, you can probably replay this video and you can probably play around with these things so that you'll have a clear idea. So this is how it works with ISM, the sorter and the joiner. So if you have a number of output groups and if you want to move it to a single target, you can probably use this structure parser along with joiners. So for any documented help, you can refer to these documents, which will give you a brief idea about the intelligence structure discovery and the structure parser. So we love hearing back from you regarding this video. You can probably give your feedbacks on support videos at informatica.com, or you can also use our Twitter handle. In case of any doubts, you can also comment on this video and we'll be happy to help you. So thanks a lot. Have a good day.